Our great coach on this episode is Kath Tetley. Kath reflects on coaching as a balance of humility, honesty and connection. She values knowing her players as individuals and uses a very novel profiling technique to understand what their unique motivations are. Her coaching journey has been characterised from a shift of uncertainty and doubt to someone who's been able to change countries and step forward as the coach of the Scottish national team. And in Scotland, she hopes to not only develop a more competitive team on the world stage, but to also leave behind a legacy where the professionalism of the sport grows. Here are some of the highlights of our interview with Kath.
I think what they do really cleverly is say, you know what, I don't have to be perfect at everything, but what I do have to do is acknowledge where potentially some of their skill gaps are and bring in really smart people. And I think I'm really mindful that I have not come to Scotland with all of the coaching chops and all of the skills. So what I've tried to do is look at all of those great coaches and say, well, how did they make their programs as brilliant as they are? And whilst not necessarily having to have all the skills of everything, it would be ridiculous to think that I could do everything as a coach. But the greats, I think, really find a way to bring really smart people to the table or on the bus, as I like to talk about. Are you on the right seat on the bus? And that enables them to create really special teams and special programs. I want them to fear the thistle, absolutely fear us, but know that we are just really cool off the court. Yes, we've got Highland cows and we've got haggis and we've got all this cool stuff, but once we pass that white line, and what I was finding, Ben, was that sometimes there was maybe, because they were such nice people, that they were worried that, particularly in a training environment, right, you would totally get this. You don't want to smash your mate. Oh, we're going for a beer after this, or we're going for a coffee tomorrow morning. I'm staying at her house tonight. They don't have the luxury of being full-time athletes. I'm staying at her house. I'm really sorry, but you have to respect her by getting across the line and smashing her. We are not going to get any better unless we have beast mode. So we talked a lot about what does beast mode look like, but I also think that when you find a way in which to let people into your mess, into your sticky stuff, then they appreciate that. They appreciate your honesty and that you've let them in. And I don't know, maybe they'll pick the Thistles as their second team when we hopefully qualify for the Netball World Cup next year, and we'll have like a whole band of Aussies that will be like holding up Scottish flags because they feel like they've been in it. But again, right there is a great example of otter portrait. You always try and make a joke when something really serious is being discussed, right? It's about, for me, it's about connecting with people that can help me, or going to that reflection diary and saying, have I been here before? Flicking back a few pages and going, yes. And potentially ringing your team manager and saying, are we better? What are the numbers saying? Talking to my performance analysis guru, Simon, and saying, can you just run those numbers for me? Because I'm really doubting myself. I'm really doubting what I'm doing for the players. So the leaving it at the door is also probably trying to give them the freedom to say, look, there's all this stuff going on, but it is okay for you to not carry all of that into training. If they've got some really heavy stuff going on, home or work or whatever it is, the training court needs to be the safest, most enjoyable, play with freedom, please make a million mistakes, otherwise we're not getting better. So the idea of the leaving at the door, what it's not doing is saying, if there's a drama, you can ask us to all come back out with you, right? If you've got a real problem, then there is absolutely no issue with us coming to you in the doorway and saying, what do you need today? But yeah, I think that leaving it at the door is maybe just a way in which to chuck the backpack off a little bit and try to enjoy the session. Because if they're not enjoying it when they're in there, no one's gaining. We're not making enough forward steps or rungs on the ladder, so to speak, to get better. That's one of the things that's so interesting about the international season is that you've got these sort of really finite periods of time to prepare and come together. I think what I took away from all of those things was the power of learning what kind of head coach you want to be. But this is probably my moment where I say the importance of being a great assistant coach was one of my big life lessons, is that I feel like having done assistant coaching where your role is to be support to your head coach, but also that conduit for the sticky moments between players and program or the front office, that is absolutely critical. And so my love for my assistant coaches is high, because those kind of gigs really teach you how you want to be as a head coach, but also, do you have the chops? Do you actually have the skills to teach these people what they need to know before they run out onto the floorboards?
If you'd like to hear our whole interview with Kath, you can use this link to access the audio podcast.